of billions of years.
Exactly. That was when it baffled me to see that religion is, there was a whole conversation in that book, Contact, about basically what seemed to me like who has the monopoly on truth, science, or religion. And that to me, I grew up in a Vedantic tradition, so to speak, and I grew up in India, so this is familiar to me in that to me it was baffling because I don't see things that way. I wasn't raised to see things that way. I just want to know your thoughts on that.
I have not read that particular book, but there is a general kind of condescension on the part of scientists who take upon themselves the authority to pass muster and opinionate about things about which they know very little. If I were to speak about physics without having done at least a decade of close work, I would be laughed out of a room. Right? Whereas most of these scientists have not read a single word of theology, and then opine about the nature of all religions. They can, for example, imagine that a religious person might genuinely take a hypothetical approach to truth, believing that only science works by way of hypothesis and falsifiability. But as I've just articulated, my entire mode of approach is based on falsifiability and provisionality. So that religion has to be absolutist in its claims, is something that Sagan just simply takes for granted. In large measure because I think he must only have been spending time with what passes for religion on the popular Western stage, which is fundamentalism. Fundamentalists do make absolutist claims. Most traditions do not. Even if they believe, for example, that the fullness of truth has been disclosed in Jesus the Christ, as we Christians are wont to say, not all of us, most of us then quickly realize, or should realize, that if the fullness of truth is disclosed in the Christ, then the fullness of knowledge about the Christ would itself be a never-ending process. So after you've said that the fullness has been disclosed in Christ, you really haven't made an absolutist claim, or you shouldn't be thinking that you have. But in Western discourse, the scientist takes himself or herself to be, often, by the way, the scientists who make these grand claims are men. And these new atheists are almost all men, profoundly misogynist too. And they dismiss all religious work in this key of hypothesis and vulnerability. They're doing battle with fundamentalists, and they become anti-fundamentalist fundamentalists. I had a mentor of mine, Harry Oliver, who was from Alabama, and he with a slightly southern accent said, "John, be careful when you choose your opponents. We tend to be defined by those whom we oppose." Right? And so the anti-fundamentalist fundamentalists become fundamentalists. And then there can be no conversation between the sciences and religions. That's why we're in the pickle that we are.